What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of For the Culture Live. I'm your host, Nick Alexander. Here to my right is Ty Sterling. Today's guest, my man from the Dope Dealers podcast on the CPU, Tobe Hixx. Man, it's hard to start this episode. It's been a tough day, and especially in LA, as we finding out that Kobe Bryant passed away on his helicopter crash. It's sad. We just trying to figure out how to get through this day because that took everybody aback today, and we're also, things are being reported by the minute, but just to lose Kobe Bryant and also the other people in the helicopter, it's very unfortunate. My condolences to his family, hopefully his other daughters, and the pilot as well, and how you guys. It's not easy day. I know for my boy Ty here, that's Kobe was like his hero. He's one of the all-time GOATs. Tobe, I know you probably seen Kobe since he was a kid, high school,
everything.
his whole career. It's not easy. Today's not easy at all.
Nah, it's unbelievable. It's actually unbelievable. I mean, shit, I was on the way down here and they said on the radio, I swear I thought I was just hearing shit. I was like, huh? Because he just came out with it all nonchalant. He just said, Adrian Wojnarowski reports, and I'm just thinking it's a trade or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, damn, somebody doing business on Sunday? Woj don't get a day off.
Never.
And then he come with that. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
What
it's funny.
fuck?
I didn't even believe TMZ. It wasn't until Woj did it where I was like, it's got to be true. Woj is like,
Yeah, he definitely ain't gonna put out no shit like that without knowing.
Yeah, Woj is that nigga is certified.
He
comes
know
to the
everything
news,
anyway.
especially basketball.
Yeah, he know everything anyway.
Comes to
And
the
he
news, that
definitely
nigga certified.
no nothing he put out is wrong. I mean,
But man, Ty, I know Kobe was your hero since we've been boys. I know how much he's meant to you. He's you wanted to emulate him, follow his career. I know you had probably the 8 and 24 jersey, Kobe Bryant NBA courtside, Sprite bottles, the Adidas sneakers, even the moon shits,
posters, all his sneakers.
yeah, the moon shit.
Like,
Was some ugly motherfucker.
That's when he did the dunk in the commercial.
Yeah.
From the three-point line. Yeah.
All his jerseys.
Yeah.
Like my mother loves Kobe.
Right.
My brother is a Heat fan, but that nigga loves Kobe.
Right.
Matt loves Kobe. You know what I mean? My whole family loves Kobe.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I grew up watching Kobe, and like that was just like that was the player that I grew up on. And that was my favorite player.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't tell me shit about Kobe.
True loyalty.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell me
Kobe.
shit about Kobe.
And it was unfortunate. What makes it
Didn't
even
tell none of us
yeah.
shit about Kobe.
Yeah,
Shit.
it hurts regardless. But I think also with just the culmination of LeBron, passing him
The
on the
night
scoring list
before?
night before.
Yeah.
It was such a good spirited thing and elevation.
Yeah.
Kobe, one of his final tweets was acknowledging LeBron and just saying to carry the torch and it was just appreciation because it was a Philly Laker game and Kobe played high school basketball in Philly, and so that's where he's rooted as where he became a known basketball player before he made it to the NBA. So it's a lot of emotions.
I mean,
Yeah,
this is for Laker fans. I mean, this is the worst thing. I mean,
yeah,
I remember the day Magic said he had HIV, and I just broke down in tears because back then you just said, "Oh shit!" I thought Magic was gonna be dead in like 6 months.
Borrowed time.
Yeah, for real. I literally, we thought back then he was gonna be dead in 6 months.
Yeah.
'Cause we
So
know.
I mean, this is the worst thing Laker wise I heard since then. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, tragedies all have a certain weight, but it's to a guy like Kobe who was just like a few years into his retirement. He's already been doing cool things. He won an Oscar for one of his animation projects. He's been slowly, he was training guys. You saw him all the time with his oldest daughter who was showing interest in playing basketball. And even,
she's really good.
she was
really good.
Yeah, she was showing like, oh wow, she could really be that player for the WNBA. Like we are, that talk was already manifesting just because of the presence that they had together, and then videos getting out, and obviously, he has three more kids who survive him. But it's so unfortunate if that is true, where she also passed away along with him.
Yeah, I mean that's all we can. I mean, just hope and pray that she wasn't there. But
yeah, I still part of me doesn't. I don't want to believe. I don't
even
believe it's.
Well, I don't
Kobe,
want to believe it was him, but I definitely trying to hold on to hope
None of the kids,
that none of the kids
or
was
Rick
hurt.
Fox, and I hope that's
Yeah.
like such a farce of a rumor. I hope it's not true.
I really,
Yeah.
I thought the city couldn't get any sadder after Nip died. Right?
Last year, yeah.
I thought like that was like, oh, this is sad, and like it can't get worse than this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
Oh no.
the beginning of the year, this year,
Yeah, that's how we
Kobe.
start 2020.
No, because I mean, when Nips died, I mean that was a horrific event because he was murdered like that, and then for the city. But then you got to realize there's millions of people that were still in the city who didn't even know who Nips was.
Who Nip was?
Yeah, they had to
Everybody
learn
knows
about him.
Kobe
Yep.
is. Yeah, most of the people didn't find out who Nipsey was until he
Until
got
he died.
murdered.
Yeah.
People know who Kobe is.
There's no like
This is a whole nother level.
Yeah.
superstar, or,
Nah.
household fucking icon.
Yeah, my uncle, he said he watches golf, right? And they had like a golf thing going on. They literally stopped the shit. They turned it off,
stopped it.
stopped it.
Wow.
Everybody stopped.
Oh yeah, they would have to.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't matter what sport you're doing right now.
Yeah.
They would have to stop.
I mean, Kobe is like literally up there with
All
He's not
sports
just a
competition is
basketball
going to be
icon, he's a
interrupted
sports
today. You know.
Icon. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
sports
all-
icon for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, all sports. I mean, anything sport wise should be interrupted today.
It's gonna be a lot of ESPN. They're gonna do a great job on just the tributes and showing the love and appreciation. NBA TV for sure are gonna be playing.
I was just
classic
listening
Kobe
to the
games.
ESPN radio before the show, before the podcast, and Ramona Shelburne was on there crying. I mean, she was
Wow.
devastated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's been covering them forever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was just in tears.
Yeah.
She said she was headed to the crash site at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think I could watch ESPN today. I couldn't watch the news when Michael Jackson died. I couldn't be on Instagram when Nipsey died. Like I don't think I could like watch anything.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I think that, like me just scrolling through Instagram and seeing his picture and knowing that like he's just gone,
Yeah.
it makes me really sad.
It does.
Like,
It does.
I just be tearing up just scrolling through the shit. So like I don't even want to.
Yeah. As a way, I mean, it's just more so talk about what we loved, about Kobe and just memories that we have. Have you guys seen him live? Did you guys have the chance
Oh
to see
yeah,
him
yeah.
live?
Oh yeah,
Used to
yeah.
go to
I've
Laker
been
games?
to many games and
Okay.
all the parades and everything. I haven't missed
How
shit
long you been in LA, Tobe?
for 20 years
20
now,
years.
so I haven't missed shit. I caught his whole career.
Yeah. I think I remember you used to go to some of the games
Yeah,
when Miami played against the Heat.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't in LA when when I was going to like basketball games like that. But my first Kobe Bryant game, they played the Miami Heat. I believe he had like 27.
Mm-hmm.
They won the game, and I went there decked out in Laker gear.
Right.
I had these shoes, right? These Reebok sneakers with like Kobe's number and the Laker jersey on them. I had the Laker jersey on. I had these jeans with like the Laker patch on it. And I remember like I'm sitting behind it was me and Rashad and his parents. I'm sitting behind the hoop, and we're kind of like low in the lower level, and he's shooting his free throws. And as he's shooting his free throws, I'm literally the only person in that area with a Kobe Bryant jersey on. I get up, I'm like, yo, Kobe. He made the free throw. He kind of did like this. And I was just like, that's like my closest, like, Kobe.
Yeah.
He probably wasn't even waving at me, but I just took it as, that nigga saw
Took
me.
that moment. Because,
Yeah.
Heat games,
Nah,
you
he
could take
probably
advantage of
wasn't.
the
You
silence.
right. He probably wasn't.
Yeah.
You right.
But I claimed it, though. Yeah, the nigga
Yeah.
saw me, dog. You seen him wave, right? He's talking to me.
Yeah.
I'm the only one. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, shit. I remember when he got here.
Rookie year,
when he
96.
went to the prom with Moesha.
Oh, yeah. With
Yeah.
Brandy.
All of that shit. I
That's
mean,
when he was a teen. They was pushing
Yeah.
he was on Nickelodeon
Yeah.
teen run for a couple
Yeah.
years because he was 18 and he had the marketability thing to him. I remember
he
watching
had
him
no
on all
fear. Yeah,
Yeah.
he had no fear.
that. Then the MJ All-Star game in '98 when I was like the little passing of the torch moment because I used to like the All-Star games and maybe you know why they do this. When they used to wear their own home jerseys or road jerseys.
yeah, that was cool.
Before the league made it unified jerseys, like they used to
Yeah,
go
that
back and
was
forth
cool.
on how they did
That was
that.
cool.
I wonder why they stopped doing that. But I love seeing Kobe's like Laker jersey against Jordan and his
Yeah,
white
yeah.
Bulls, and I was in New York City and it was MJ's like it was
Yeah.
that was big. I was a kid, NBA, NBC, and just that game was like a
It's
spectacle.
easy why they did it, because when you wear those jerseys, they still making the same amount of money. They create them other jerseys
Yeah.
for more
more
marketing.
money.
Okay.
Because then everybody, each year, there's people who buy the All-Star jersey every year.
Right. Okay, yeah, I guess
There
so.
you go.
But I like. What do you prefer? The unified?
Oh,
jerseys
yeah,
or when they wear their own
I
jerseys?
liked when they used to wear their own shit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just about the money, the extra jersey sales.
One of my favorite things about Kobe, right? Because we all know that nigga can't fight.
The Chris Childs 2-piece.
Yeah, whenever somebody gets in his face like ready to fight,
Yeah.
he knows he can't fight. So what he's gonna do is he's just gonna kill you with his game. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I might not have fists, but I got game, and I'm gonna kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he after the whole Chris Childs, I believe he killed him that game, but he
Chris
killed
Childs
him.
wasn't fucking with Kobe.
Yeah, and then he killed him career
No,
wise
and
too.
then,
So
I
it's
mean,
like,
and, you know, it's funny you say that because I knew Chris Childs. I mean, I was a friend of his back in the day. I mean, he was one of my boys. So, yeah, he, that was some wild shit. But I wouldn't just say Kobe. I mean, that was just.
He fought Reggie Miller, though.
Yeah,
Him and
that
Reggie
just
fought.
caught him off
it
guard.
was a scuffle.
It was a kerfuffle.
It wasn't no. It wasn't no throwing hands. Like Kobe
Nah,
just
they went to the thing.
like no, because they were like grabbing each other and like
Yeah.
kind of like wrestling all the way to the
Yeah.
to the announcers table, but there was like no hands thrown. They kinda,
no blows.
yeah, like the Jordan Reggie shit
That
is
was a
different
fight.
because somebody got their eyes gouged out because
Yeah.
I remember they pushed his head back.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kobe never been a fighter. It's like when Rajah Bell clotheslined the shit out of
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Anybody else gonna get up and like get in his face?
Kobe
Kobe
just-
just got up and walked away. I remember he did the brush the shoulders off. Like
Right.
it's okay,
Oh,
it's all right,
yeah.
and I'm gonna give you 40 now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I always liked
And
about
then
Kobe.
Matt Barnes, when Matt Barnes tried to fling him, and the he didn't flinch
Yeah,
thing, and just
that's
staring at
what's
him.
Yeah.
crazy to me, dog.
Yeah.
Like somebody who's not a fighter, you know what I mean, but still had like no fear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they had no
Yeah.
fear in that shit. Cause
Yeah.
I know people who can't fight and like if you like they
Press
Oh, no.
Kobe's like,
I
nah.
mean, just because you ain't a great boxer don't mean you got to be scared.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
like,
He's
he
tough
just-
as shit. You just take
Yeah.
a beating.
yeah, he just
And
he
I
just-
wouldn't say, I wouldn't take it like he couldn't fight at all. I mean, shit.
Come on, hey, look,
Ain't
Kobe-
nobody in. I mean, their biggest asset is their hands. None of them motherfuckers were fighters, really.
except
only a
for
few
except
fighters.
for Wesley Johnson. That
You
man is a
know.
black belt. He's a black
James
belt.
Johnson, too?
Yeah, no, not Wesley. James
James
Johnson.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh
He's a
yeah.
black
oh yeah,
belt.
yeah. He's yeah.
And
yeah.
he's done like a couple MMA fights. He's actually undefeated.
Yeah, he's
So,
serious.
yeah, I'm not
but that's,
fucking with
that's
him.
a whole nother. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a different thing. There's a
Yeah.
few cats in the league who know karate and shit like that.
Like I know
It's
David
more
West.
than one.
David West was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that was like one thing I always liked about Kobe, man.
fearlessness.
Like he
Yeah.
was just fearless. He just didn't care. No matter how many times you knocked him down, Dwayne Wade broke his nose.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
In the
yeah.
All-Star game, like it doesn't matter how many times you bust him, like beat him down. He just get up and he's still gonna kill you.
He was
Like nothing's gonna like,
tough.
take
I
him off
mean,
the course.
the man tore his Achilles and then still shot the free throws and limped off the
Damn,
court.
and,
Like,
and it's like I'm looking back, like on my career, like one of my biggest bits was the bit about where I compared Magic and Kobe, and
okay.
I mean that was one of like people to this day like still remember me for that shit. I'll never forget one night at the Comedy Store. It was a Tuesday night when Tuesday used to be cracking, and Jalen Rose was
the
there.
Fat Tuesdays
Yeah.
era.
And
Okay.
Jalen Rose was there, and after my set, he said, "Hey man, you know, I go to a lot of comedy clubs across the country, and a lot of people have Kobe jokes." He was like, "Man, your Kobe joke is the best I ever heard." And so, like, and I said, a lot of people still remember that shit. So that'll
That's
always.
dope. This was
yeah.
around. This was what was the bit about? Like,
It was about Magic Johnson and Kobe, and Magic should have known better. I mean, Kobe should have known better, cheating.
oh,
You know, without a condom, like this nigga walked past Magic Johnson every day. How the fuck he fuck around without a condom on?
Oh,
So that was the gist
that
of
made
it,
me.
but
That broke me up. Yeah,
but,
I like that one.
you know,
It's good. You can make him laugh, yo.
said this nigga passed my Magic
Every
Johnson.
yeah, I ain't
day.
fucking around without a condom on, you know.
What you doing out here, Cole?
Yeah, and then just the fact of,
Yeah.
I mean, shit. You know, when you broke and you get in trouble, you gotta deal with that shit on your own. Kobe hired a crisis management team.
Right.
6 white dudes came to the house. Their job was not to leave until they figured out how to clean up his image.
Right.
Finally, after day 3, one of the white guys goes, Kobe, I got it. We gonna change your number. You didn't rape that white bitch, number 8 did.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fucking great.
Yeah.
Oh shit! All right, man. Yo, thank you for sharing the joke. That is a fire ass bit. I thought you were gonna say just wear a condom. That's how we Christ admitted. That's funny. I didn't. That was a good left twist on there. Yeah, I mean, definitely that case had a lot of Kobe jokes and the snitching stuff with the Shaq.
Yeah.
Now, but it's like now that shit just is so meaningless now. It's just like, man, these guys. I love that they patched their shit up and they look like they was on.
Can you
good
imagine?
terms.
I mean, can you imagine like right now how
Shaq
Magic feel, how Shaq feel, how Jeannie Buss feel? I mean,
Yeah, if they hadn't patched their shit up.
I mean, I'm just saying, just in general, how they
yeah,
feel
yeah,
right
yeah.
now. I mean, how devastated they are.
And we lost David Stern too.
You
Like,
know.
it's been a rough start to the year, for sure. But yeah, I mean,
Phil Jackson. I mean, can you imagine how Phil feels right now?
Derek Fisher.
Yeah, man.
That was his right hand man.
Yeah, that was his guy. Which is
Um,
kind of funny to me
Why?
because you had you have Kobe with the snitching shit with Shaq, right?
Yeah.
Like you just don't do that. You just shit that you don't do.
Yeah.
And then you have Derek Fisher with the Matt Barnes shit. It's just some shit that you don't do. And it's just like, well, we both got some shit in common. Like, what's going on? You know, now they like best friends. Like this shit is.
Well, they was friends before.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
But then like you start to think like, then maybe that's why they best friends.
Right.
Like,
The whole journey together. Yeah. They kind of condone each other's past behaviors. But
I wonder what Kobe told him when he had got his ass whooped by Matt. Because I know he had to call Kobe
Damn,
and
hey,
tell him
look.
what happened.
What's that?
Shout out to my homie Curl. He said his daughter was with them.
GG.
Yeah, I just got the news right here. I didn't want to say nothing.
We sick here, Curly. We sick, man. This shit is unbelievable.
Yeah, you want to put it to you so you people can see you?
Yeah, man. Whatever.
Woo.
Woo!
Yeah.
What a day.
In more terms of like just positive things, what are your favorite like Kobe games outside? Look, 81 is obviously a big one, but like if you have any other specific memories of just when Kobe you just loved watching a game that Kobe had?
The 60, the last night of his career, man. That was
beautiful.
remarkable.
That was great.
That was remarkable, man. I mean, ain't nobody retired. Ain't nobody did that shit in their last game.
With a guns blazing kind of
yeah,
game.
that shit was unbelievable. I mean, he might have shot it 50 times, but he got 60. So.
And then they came back and won. That was beautiful too, because
Yeah.
it was like he led the last comeback,
Yeah.
and everybody was just like rocking. It was such a fun.
Yeah.
That was a fun. I was lucky. I was there to watch it. Yeah, I feel the chills because I remember that was like a big thing because Golden State had a game and nobody cared, but that was like their 73 win season.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh no, fuck what they doing. It's about Kobe tonight. Like,
Yeah, that was remarkable. I mean, the 81 was unbelievable. I remember when he had 63 points in 3 quarters, and the Dallas Mavericks had
I remember that.
62.
yeah,
Like that was the shit.
He had 63,
Yep.
and they had 62 points.
yeah, he
Yeah.
outscored them by himself, and then sat the fourth quarter and chilled.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that might have been the game. We thought like, damn, he should have left me. He might have got 90 that
Yeah,
game.
he
I was like,
would've
yo,
went
if you
off.
let them cook, he could probably get to 90. That would have been dope to see. But the fact that he got to 81
Damn,
was
man.
crazy. I remember there was a game I think he had like 40 against New York, and it was when he did he went down the baseline and then finished it and then put it on the other
end.
side.
Yeah, on the other side.
That was like a huge like
One of my favorite games was I believe it was I forget
Nigga,
what
you
game
got to
it was.
remember.
Yeah, I can't remember the game.
No,
but
I'm fucking with you.
it was a playoff game against the Suns, and the Lakers were down. They were down 2. Kobe gets the ball like elbow at the elbow. 2 dribble pull up ties it, right?
Yeah.
They go into overtime. They going back and forth. The jump ball, right? Taps it to Kobe. Kobe does like a little in and out floaty shit.
Right.
Drops it right in to fucking win the game. I remember that shit because I was in the living room.
Oh, that's when he was like this?
Yeah, and that's what it was like this. So I remember I was in the living room. It was me, my mom, Matt, Preemie, all of us. And like when he got the ball, I was like, I can't watch. I turned around, right? And I couldn't watch. And my mom said, "What?" Started screaming. I was like, "Did he make it?" She's like, "Ah!" She started grabbing me and shit. I was like, "Dog, like that shit just like it was just."
Then that was like the first round in 2006 or 2007 against Phoenix. Yeah, those are the.
And you know what's crazy? He has a lot of games like that.
Yeah, I mean, so like there's the one in the finals when Shaq got fouled out against the Pacers.
Oh,
and he took
yeah,
over and
yeah.
then going into OT.
Yeah.
That was like his coming out moment.
I remember when Kobe was shooting so much, he had everybody freeze that nigga out and not pass him the ball. Shaq admitted that shit. He said they had a signal where they would be like, fuck Kobe right now.
Yeah, Raja said it was a signal. I think it was like this or something like that.
Whatever it
Something
was,
like that.
they had signals to where like, okay, this nigga's shooting too much. We don't pass him the ball.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, freeze him out.
I remember the 31 he had in the All-Star game in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
That he was cooking that game.
You remember when they were calling Ruben Patterson the Kobe stopper? And then he came out and hit 2 buzzer beaters on his ass. He had 1 in the regular in regulation, and then he hit 1 in overtime to win the game. Right, like some crazy turnaround fadeaway 3 on top of Ruben Patterson's head to win the game.
During the Jailblazer era.
Yeah, the Jailblazer.
I mean, and that was and that all that shit was remarkable. How when he was caught up in the case and shit, how he would go to court and just come to the game and get there
40.
Get there about 6:30. The game started set in an hour, and he just walk
really
in, get dressed, and he was just killing motherfuckers still. That's how I said, man, he couldn't have. That's why I said he wasn't guilty. Anything come score and act like it ain't shit. You couldn't have all that shit legally on your conscience and just still be doing that shit.
But that was like probably therapy for him. Just like he's so mad at the world, just this fucking situation. I'm gonna just go kill these niggas on the court tonight. Like,
they were calling him a rapist at the free throw line. You remember?
Oh yeah. So
then Adidas dropped him. Yep. And then like he lost the brand stuff, and then like
he lost Adidas. He lost Sprite.
I know, he was probably happy when he lost them ugly ass Adidas. Them motherfuckers.
That might have been a blessing in disguise. Because when he got with Nike, woo, they fucking took it to
his
the
shit
level.
Skyrocketed.
Yeah, he's got classic sneakers now because he had the dope commercials with Adidas, but the sneakers was always ugly. And the Nike, they had good commercials, but the sneakers. I mean, he got 5 chips, 2 on his own. He did it without the big homie Shaq. I mean, though I remember like I was a teenager, so I can remember vividly watching like those finals against the Magic and then Boston, and that was a crazy series and time frame because he just wanted to prove so hard that he could win it without Shaq. And like
I remember, I remember I had a story. I didn't mean it was crazy. I was in San Diego, and a friend of mine, he does a lot of coaching in San Diego, so. We was at a gym, and Kobe's dad was there. He was coaching some kids. Kobe's father was there, and it was remarkable because as he was coaching they were teenagers, like 14, 15. He was talking about Kobe like he wasn't his son. Yeah. I mean, he was saying it like, now Kobe Bryant is good because he does this, and he works hard at this and this and that. And I'm sitting there like, damn. He's talking as if it wasn't his son, but I mean, he couldn't just go, my son. Yeah. But he was saying Kobe Bryant to the kids, and he was pointing out shit to them. That was just kind of remarkable to me, seeing him this was a little gym in downtown San Diego. You wouldn't even expect Kobe's father to be at coaching some kids in it. Yeah. And shit. But it was a special sight to see at that time.
Speaking on his father, I was aware that he had kind of distanced himself from his parents for a while. Yeah. And I really hope that they might have patched things up in retirement and at least had a cordial relationship, because I think it would suck, for a while you would hear that Kobe, really his relationship was non-existent with his dad especially, and it was turmoil stuff with wife and the family. So I really hope that they worked that stuff out.
Yeah, hopefully they did.
Yeah. So that in the last couple of years that they, after he retired, they were able to, get back right as a unit, because you just lost those years, and you just like regret, like, why didn't I try harder to get back in my son's life or the mother or whatever, for just everything, because this man's 41 years old. His career went by so fast, and then you just figure, Kobe just gonna be around to like Bill Russell. Like that's crazy. Like Bill Russell's still alive.
This is some shit. You don't just in your mind sit around and expect people to die at an early age and shit like this, but this one right here,
it's hard.
Hey, I'm in shock still, Driving over here, I was like feeling like I was having an anxiety attack and shit. Like, I'm like, this is unbelievable. Like, like this, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah. And granted, if it's your answer, it's your answer. I want to ask you, where did Kobe rank in your list? Like, if you have like a top 10 or shooting guards, like where was Kobe?
Well, he was, number 2 shooting guard. Okay. Behind Jordan.
Right.
I gotta have him in the top. I had him in the top 5.
But he was one of your favorites too?
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, for sure. I had him in the top 5. Dope. But yeah, he was second behind Jordan. There's older people at that time, they didn't think they would see nothing like Jordan, and then here came Kobe right behind him with him still on the court. Was kind of remarkable. Yeah. You thought it was going to be at least 10 years before you see somebody else like MJ, but he came quick.
Yeah, and it was just like, I think it's also specific about just how it was like the dude is the same height as him, has the same sort of build, has the leaping ability and the skill level. It's like
the work ethic, everything.
The work ethic, absolutely. I mean, that's one thing I think when you talk about Kobe is what puts him above everybody else. What the most talked about trait of his was his work ethic.
Yeah,
like,
the work ethic.
And let's talk about that some more. Like you kind of know what he used to do, the mentality that he has.
I used to like,
yeah,
cause like back in high school, like that's all I did was like want to work on my jumper, I want to be in the gym, blah blah. Even if I couldn't get in the gym, we'd be at Nativity shooting outside. You know what I mean?
So you go somewhere and shoot.
And like so. The reason why I was like that is because I used to read like these crazy ass stories about Kobe, dog. They used to say like his trainer tell him like, "Yo, we gonna get up before practice, right? Because practice is like at 10, right? We gonna get up and be at the gym at like 7 or 6, and we gonna work out on some shit, and then you gonna practice, and then you can go on about your day or whatever." He said he'd wake up, be at the gym at 6, and Kobe was already in there sweating like hard. You know what I mean? Shooting, doing shit full speed. He's like, "What the fuck? Like, I told you 6." He's like, "Yeah, but I wanted to get warmed up or whatever." He said, "But this nigga's in full sweat." So they go, do their workout. He go do practice. He go eat, right? Take a little break, come back to the gym and do the same shit.
Yeah.
He was literally in the gym all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was his life, and and you can see like that's why he was so good, like because he was literally in the gym all day, every day.
Oh, okay. Tobe's co-host Jamal Doman, he couldn't be with us today, but he would like to call in and just share a few words. So yeah, let's get Jamal on the phone if we can. Yeah, I definitely would love to hear from him.
I'll call him right now.
Okay, so you want to tell him Paul's gonna call him?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Jamal Doman, another half of the Dope Dealers podcast, and that's what we were gonna, get into today. We still got time to do that, so you guys can kind of like talk about what y'all do at the Dope Dealers. I've been on the podcast myself as a guest, and I had a great time with y'all. Y'all been really cool, just vets out here. Just since I've been out here, like,
Yeah, we're coming up on our 100th episode.
Congratulations! Yes, salute to that.
What's up?
I remember the first time I seen Tobe. I was still a visitor, I believe, and Tobe did the Comedy Store. This was like the last of the Turn Up Tuesdays or whatever they had before the Black Night got shut down. And man,
the Black Night, yeah.
whatever they called it, But Tobe, man, I remember watching you rip that shit down, bro. Like you did like a 20-minute set, and yeah, your set was just so tight and polished, and it reminded me of another comic. I don't know if you've heard of him in New York, but I just feel like the way y'all approach it and y'all act, like just the way y'all attack the stage, it was. Have you ever heard of John Laster?
Mm-hmm.
He's another Midwest dude. He's from Denver. But just when I saw you, it reminded me a lot of John, and it's just like, yeah, y'all set was so sharp. And then like the other times I see you after that, it was just like, yeah, man, Tobe got his shit down to like a fucking you just a scientist with your shit, man. So I always had big respect.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, well, Jamal's about to call in. Okay, what up, Jamal Doman? You on live with the For the Culture podcast?
Hey, what's happening, man? How you doing, Nick?
Good, man. Me and Ty here, Tobe here, we chilling it.
What's going on, brother? It's me, Ty.
Yeah, man. I'm good, man.
What up, Dope Dealer?
Man, I'm over here stunned, man. I'm supposed to be working on this job, but I can't even move, man. I haven't been able to move in like the last 2 hours, man. This is crazy.
No, definitely. I just from the perspective and for the listeners, for the people watching. So Jamal is a comic from Philly. And I mean, clearly last night with the Lakers playing the Sixers and LeBron passing Kobe's scoring record, and that being in Philly,
the next day,
a lot of shit like that. So I know that means a lot to you because you as a Philly guy out here in LA, you've had a lot of probably love and appreciation for Kobe. You want to share some thoughts?
Yeah, it's just crazy, man. I just coming up when Kobe was coming up, just tell you a quick story. When Kobe was doing everything in Lower Merion, I remember Lower Merion is a suburb, it's not really the city.
Right.
So he didn't play in the public league.
Right.
So even though he was putting up numbers and this hoopla was surrounding him, there's always people in the city like, well, he's doing that in the suburbs, white boys.
Right.
He can't do that in the public league. He can't come in the city and do that. And it was like a little like, is he really that good?
Right.
But then people realized, yeah, he even if he played in the public league, he would dominate the public league.
I heard he used to play in the summer, church leagues, everything he did.
So I mean, we followed him obviously from Philly, just leaving high school,
Yeah.
going to the Lakers, and just what he became is just. And we always respected him, even when they beat us in the finals. Obviously, a Sixers fan,
Of course,
pissed,
2001.
but yeah, you can't be mad. They were very team, and you can't be mad at what Kobe did, man. It's just it's just it's just surreal, man. It's
Man,
surreal, man. Just yeah.
Absolutely.
you know
And
how
I know,
I feel, man. You know I'm
yeah, I
sick,
know.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think when it comes to like the whole Philly thing and him in high school, I think what really like put him on was Devin George is from the PA area, right?
Okay.
And like in that state, like he was supposed to be like one of like the top players. And I remember, Devin George played, public school,
Right.
so like he was supposed to be the guy, but
Mhm.
Kobe was killing.
Mhm.
So I remember like they had like a little rivalry. Devin George played Kobe, and you know
Yeah,
they
rest
both
is
made it to
history.
the league, but
Yeah,
Kobe was
obviously.
just
And Tim
clearly,
Thomas too, right, Jamal? Correct me if I'm wrong. Tim
Yeah.
Thomas was definitely one of those guys in the Philly areas in the late '90s. They were like in around the
Yeah.
same timeline, right? As far as dudes from that part of the town. Yeah, man. I mean, it's
and just remember his rookie year. Let's remember the air balls against Utah.
I
Mhm.
know.
And
Yep.
and
Yeah.
and it's just like but he
Fearless.
had the confidence to take them shots, and it's like that didn't rattle him at all, man. He was it didn't rattle him at all. He just learned from it. I mean, just to be that young and to have the confidence to keep shooting. And I heard they interviewed him afterward. He said I would take them shots again all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that was his mentality.
And I
He
remember
was the closest I ever seen to Jordan.
right.
The closest I ever seen
Yeah.
to Jordan. I would say the second greatest two guard ever.
That's
Mhm.
what I
And I
said.
know there's a lot of
Mhm.
people who
Mhm.
consider him, the GOAT, and it's just, prayers to his family, prayers to Vanessa, everybody, man.
And he has the baby with him, his daughter with him. This is
Yeah.
this is unbelievable.
It's a tragedy,
Tragedy.
for sure. Yeah, man. Other than that, man, Jamal, you good? So you said you was on the road.
Yeah,
You
everything's
was
good, man.
performing?
I'm on the road performing, man. I really, I appreciate. I wish I missed. I wanted to make it, man. Let's do it again, man. Where bring us up there, man. And I keep doing your thing, man. I appreciate everything you're doing, man. And the podcast is doing well, man. I told you, I know you hold this down, man. I just wanted to call and say what's up to everybody.
Nah, thanks, Jamal.
Appreciate that.
All right,
Appreciate you,
homie.
bro.
Appreciate it. Take care, brother.
All right.
Yeah, that was Jamal Doman, man, another half of the Dope Dealers clique. Yeah, man. So yeah, I can imagine for him too, cause he's about Kobe's age. He's he's heard about the Philly shit. He's always been in tune with Philly.
Yeah, he was
So,
there at
He
the
was
time.
there. You know what I mean? He's seen it. You know what I mean? So yeah,
You
that
watched
would.
it from the ground up, from the bottom.
That's
you know
funny
what
though.
I mean?
How you said that niggas in the hood like, oh man, he doing that out there with them white boys. Yeah, he can't do that shit with us.
And he
Yeah.
used to just kill him too in the summer because I read a book where he would talk about all the different leagues he played in because he wanted to just play everywhere. So he played in the streets, he played in the little church leagues, he played in whatever YMCA. He did every little league he could.
You
to
remember
just-
he played in the Myrtle Beach Classic,
Mhm.
and that's how. And I believe that's how. No, that was I think he hurt his hand somewhere else. But in the Myrtle Beach Classic, because you remember we played in the Myrtle Beach Classic.
Yeah, in South Carolina, right?
Yeah, and then when you go there, you actually see his name up on the wall. It's like him and like Raymond Felton, and I believe he had like some crazy
Nigga,
numbers.
don't mention Raymond Felton's name
No,
in
but
the
I'm
same
sa-
category
I'm
with
saying-
Kobe.
I'm saying
Shout
in
outs to Felton.
in the tournament,
Oh no,
in
I
the
know,
tournament
I know.
he
I'm
was
fucking
killing,
with
but Kobe, like, cause you only play 3 games. It's a tournament. You only play
Right,
3 games.
right.
In the 3 games, he had like 130 points or some shit like that. Some crazy shit.
He's a
You know what I mean?
he's
So
getting buckets.
he like that Myrtle Beach Classic. If you know any high schools that go there, like
his
when you
jersey.
get there, the first thing they tell you is like, yeah, Kobe Bryant came here and he killed everything.
Mm.
You know what I mean? That's the first thing they tell you when you get there. So
Yeah, I mean that's
Raymond
he's,
Felton.
That nigga mentioned Raymond.
Hey man,
Felton
Raymond
with
Felton was a
Kobe?
beast in high school.
No, he was. He had a
solid
decent
15
career.
years. Yeah, but he ended that.
He had a decent career.
good college career for sure. He got the
Yeah,
title.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yo, so Tobe, you love ball just like me and Ty do. What do you think it is when, guys can dominate the high school level and have really good success in the college level, and then for a guy sidetrack from Kobe. So for a guy like Raymond Felton, right? I mean, at that time, he was right there with Chris Paul, Deron Williams. Those 3 came to the league in the 05 draft. Like all of them, you felt really, really good about. So then you got Chris Paul, who's considered the point guard. In his career, he's probably looked at as the best one. For a while, it was him and Duran, traded spots because Duran had more
Yeah.
success playoff wise, but
And quicker.
and maybe more size over
Yeah.
Chris. Felton was a little bit taller than Chris, but he had the good passing skill. He was tough. He had won a title, so obviously they put the merit on winning. Like, how do you think?
Who do you win with?
UNC.
Okay.
In college. So how do you think it happens where like their careers kind of go the way they do? Like Duran was an all-star right there with Chris Paul, and then he kind of like gets traded, and he just kind of falls off the earth as he got older. Whatever he didn't age well.
Well,
so it's fine. A
you
guy like
remember
Felton
like
He stopped cutting his hair before the games. That's what happened.
a guy like Felton becomes like a veteran bench leader, like that type of dude, and Chris Paul is like still a fucking starter, leading a winning team. Like, what do you think is the?
Well, part of it is like, Williams, like his issue was he couldn't stay out the kitchen. Like that kind of fucked him up, and he got so heavy that he got hurt all the time.
And then he couldn't do his skill.
Okay.
But Felton had weight issues too, though.
Yeah, he did too. That's why he was a starter on most of the teams he was on. Then he went to the bench because of his weight.
Right.
And even though he stayed chubby, he stayed solid and could shoot and was a pretty good defender. But Chris just worked. I think he worked a little. Worked harder.
Work ethic ultimately?
Yeah, I think
even
it was
though
work
he's had injury issues, he sort of had like little weight issues too. But you just think it's purely he just wanted it to be a great more than those two did.
Yeah, and that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because it's just because them three they all
Yeah,
top
they was
five. It was a debate. That draft.
And they had each of them had a little decent run where they was doing certain things. I mean, because where they were doing certain things good.
Right.
They just didn't have the longevity that CP had. That's basically it.
In Atlanta, man, y'all had the number 2 pick and y'all chose Marvin Williams. I mean, he's had a long career too, but to not have you had 2 all-star for sure point guards, a good starter, and y'all just they struggled for years without a point. That made me think about that draft and their whole run.
Yeah.
Another person I don't think that translated.
Paul, did they say they're gonna cancel the games today or what?
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
They said that they had arrived to the arena for warm-ups. Like,
I know the Nuggets just gave them a moment of silence, but they didn't cancel the game.
Well then they ain't canceling them.
They can't. The league don't stop for nobody. David Stern died, and they didn't cancel no games.
Well, I mean,
They say Wilson Chandler. Who is it? Wilson Chandler? Who plays for the Nuggets?
Wilson Chandler's with the Nets.
They're playing right now, right?
Yeah, they're playing with the Knicks at 3 o'clock.
Okay, yeah. They said like he was on the bench crying.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like that's just too much. You can't. That's too much money. You can't turn that.
Yeah. I guess
the show got to go on.
TV. Zion's supposed to be on TV and shit.
Yeah. You can't.
He looking good though. You said it.
Who's looking good?
Zion.
Oh yeah, I mean.
I ain't want to believe it.
Really?
He gonna be good. I mean,
of course I had doubts. The nigga is 6'7", 300 pounds almost.
But he got to cut some weight though. He's
course.
got to.
Yeah.
Cause just the thing about it is that it ain't that he's injury prone or whatever, but man, just like the first game, did you see when he jumped up with the 7-footer and grabbed a rebound?
Yeah.
All that weight came down on one leg, man. On one leg,
and doing
man.
that night after night after night.
It's no way. Yeah, that shit's it's gonna take his toll. He's got to lose weight, man.
How many pounds would you say? Like 20? If he gets like 260.
30.
30. Okay.
If he get to 255, oh
Yeah,
Would he have the same power though? If he's at 255.
Yeah,
his explosion's gonna be the
if he can, he's got to lose 20 for sure. Like
The league made it hard for him by letting New Orleans get him because
out of all the places,
around
the best
jambalaya,
crab
crawfish,
cakes,
everything.
That nigga Zion should just have a crackhead come cook for him. That nigga need a crackhead chef to stay little down there. Yeah, I was like,
that's
you know he put on 100 pounds in high school.
Well, but he also grew he had a big growth spurt too.
He was 6'2",
180,
oh yeah, he was little.
6'2",
yeah, he was
165.
Right.
Freshman year.
Yeah.
And in 2 years, he went from 6'2" to 6'7", 285.
I mean,
that's crazy.
He's a genetic freak, though. It's just, but he's gonna have to. I mean, he can play what he's doing at 19, but when he gets to like 24, 25, I mean, they're gonna really work hard to get him down now.
He got to cut that weight now.
But man, was he not excited to watch?
Oh yeah, he is.
He started catching fire.
The thing is, man, if he shoots let's just say if he can shoot 35% from the three,
Oh man.
oh man,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna.
he's gonna be
dominate.
hard to deal with.
Because it's just like the thing of where people just get on Ben Simmons' case so much is that he just won't even take a shot.
Yeah.
Giannis just got a 3-pointer like a couple years ago. It's better this year, but like Zion is already willing to take the shot, so you don't even have to criticize that thing of he's a not shooter. Like he ain't gonna shoot 4 for 4 every night, but the fact that he's just not afraid to take an open shot.
No, the fact that you shoot it, that's
Yeah,
enough right
you
there.
Just shoot it, make it.
Yeah,
So,
you a threat.
you
You
a
gonna
threat.
at least shoot the motherfucker.
Yeah, Ben Simmons just be like he just won't shoot.
Speaking of Ben Simmons, him, Tobias Harris,
Yeah.
and Al Horford continuously ran a train on Danny Green. Every switch on Danny Green
I
was
missed
a
the game
bucket.
last night. Okay.
Every switch on Danny Green was a bucket. And then Danny Green come down on the other end and go 0 for 10.
Oof.
Then you got Kuzma, right, who doesn't want to be traded and has nothing in the first half and has a whopping 4 points in the second half.
He's up and
Well,
down.
that ain't
He has
his
up
fault
and down
though.
games.
I mean, a lot
Right,
of that
but,
shit
yeah.
ain't Kuz's fault though.
Really?
Yeah, when you used to starting and getting all those touches or whatever, and
The rhythm.
yeah, the rhythm, and then all of a sudden you're not in that same position. It's hard, and I mean, goddamn, you got motherfucking, you got Frank there, you got Vogel, you got Frank Vogel, you got Jason Kidd, you got Lionel Hollins, you got Phil Handy. Y'all motherfuckers show him what to do.
Yeah.
This is coaching.
Yeah.
You can't, ain't no need
You're
of
right.
talking about trading him, because that'd be the dumbest shit ever, because for one, he don't make enough money, so what are you going to trade this motherfucker for, a role player? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, he's talented. He can,
So coach him up.
right.
That's not his fault. His whole situation changed, and they should have said, okay, we know it's cool situation changed. Here's how the plan, we're going to tell him what to do because it's changing his situation and how he should play. He's trying to figure it out.
Right.
On his own.
That's what the coach is for. That's their motherfucking fault.
Yeah. I think it's more so like the best situation is to just feature him when LeBron and AD is resting. Like, give him the chance to carry the offense for stretches. Like, you can do that for like 5 to 7 minute spurts in both halves. So that's at least 12 minutes where he's the guy on the court, and then the other 8 or 10 minutes he's on the court with them trying to get.
They don't need to make no trades. Don't need to do shit. All they need to do is talk Darren Collinson into come on and playing with him.
Yeah, I never
Add
understood why he
him
retired.
because,
Yeah, that
well,
made no
it was
sense.
religious reasons.
But now you want to get back in the league 6 months later.
But I didn't understand that. You know, I never fuck with nobody's religion or nothing. But I was looking at it like, well, if you're doing missions and you're trying to do shit
need
around
bread.
the world, okay, why don't you make all the money you can make during your career, and then you got the rest of your life to do good
that.
deeds?
He
that
had
shit in the
30 million.
offseason.
He could have had for 3 years, and you know.
Yeah, he fucked.
I
Yeah.
don't- That's the thing.
And now he's about to play for the league minimum. I mean, but
you blew it because you're 30. You're not gonna get like a big contract like that again. Now because they're gonna be like, oh, we don't know if you're gonna want to commit, and what if you find another calling?
well, if he come through and ball this year, he'll get another
he'll
deal.
get maybe like
yeah.
a 2-year deal.
Yeah, he'll get
but
it.
he ain't gonna get what he could have had.
He probably won't.
Probably won't. That's a lot of millions, man.
You know what I'm mad about?
What's up?
I still think about it to this day.
What?
We signed Jared Dudley instead of Carmelo Anthony.
Oh,
Jared
no.
Dudley instead of Carmelo Anthony.
Well, no, I mean, obviously, I
He
mean,
don't
Jared,
even play.
It was politics behind
yeah,
it.
Jared Dudley is not a motherfucker that's gonna kick up no dust. He's not. I mean, he's never been as good as player as Carmelo. That's not even the point. But he fits the team better at the time than Carmelo did.
I guess, man.
I mean, because he don't, you know, if Carmelo was getting the same amount of time as Jared Dudley, he'd be mad as a motherfucker.
Yeah, maybe.
No, he would be.
Yeah, he probably would be. But I feel like
He fell into the right situation. Somebody who put him out there to start
and
immediately.
they needed the guys.
Yeah,
They needed the
yeah,
bodies.
yeah. That wouldn't have been the same here.
Well,
Yeah,
I think he
would've-
could have got 20-ish minutes, which would have been like he would have had to be a professional because if you really want to be in the league, you would have made the sacrifice because you know that like Dwight Howard, this is your last chance. Dwight Howard's getting a good amount of time.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
he would have had more minutes than who is it that's coming off the bench?
They have
Kuz. You
Yeah, that would've been Kuz's minutes.
you can't
can't
take
take
Kuz
Kuz
minutes and give him to Carmelo.
Yeah, you can't take Kuz minutes.
I just think they have
That wouldn't
who's
make
the starter?
sense.
who starts.
You got LeBron,
Avery
Katavius,
Bradley.
Avery Bradley,
Avery
starts,
Danny
Bradley's
Green.
the starter.
and then
Yeah.
Rondo's the backup.
And you
then
can't
got-
fuck with him because he's the best defender. So Carmelo just didn't fit.
The fit wasn't there. I think it was also a positional overlap because they got like a lot of these 6'9", 6'10",
Yeah.
6'11".
Yeah.
They're missing that 6'7", 6'8" kind of wing. and who will play D and
And
whatever.
then the thing is, they needed
Yeah.
somebody. If they was gonna ask somebody at that position, they needed somebody to defend, and that's just not Carmelo.
yeah.
They
Yeah,
they could
yeah.
not have not have another motherfucker who couldn't defend. They got enough of those already.
Right. Yeah, I think yeah, it seems weird, but I think it was the right move, and I think Melo is doing a way better. Well, not way better because Portland ain't gonna win no chip, but but he's getting his time. He's getting a chance to show he can still play. He's not washed. It just hurts because you're watching him put up these numbers sometimes, and it's like, damn, Lakers could use another guy at times.
Yeah,
to give him a breather.
and I heard that they're giving Dame his own day
Right.
in Portland.
I mean, he's their best player outside of Drexler, maybe.
Every day should be that nigga's day. I mean, all they got up there.
He gave them his career.
all they got is Dame and
CJ.
good weed.
CJ,
Yeah.
too.
And good weed.
Good week.
Yeah, that's all they got.
Yeah, Portland's a good comedy city, right?
Yeah. Portland's a good Oregon is a
Oregon
good
is
comedy state. Yeah.
Yeah.
For,
I heard that who was it that was you that was telling me like you can't say bitch in the comedy club in Portland?
no, that's
or
I
pussy?
don't know where.
You were
There was somebody said there was
Yeah,
something about a
some-
venue
somebody
in
had told me
Portland
that.
where they couldn't say that.
I don't know where that's at. I mean, I don't know. I
You done
mean,
ran
I ain't gonna
through
say
the-
I ain't gonna dispute it because I don't know.
you
But
done
I
had
don't
no
know.
problems when
And
you
you never had
No,
that
no,
problem.
no. And it ain't what you say in most cases, how you say it. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
because one comic can go out there and say some shit and everybody's offended. And the next person can go out there and say the same shit, and if they say it a different way, people not even offended.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been fortunate enough in my career to be the latter where people don't be offended by shit I say. I can walk into a room and I can just look at motherfuckers and I can tell what they could take and what they can't take.
Mm-hmm.
I can just tell. I mean, I've probably been wrong a few times, but for the most part, I've always been right. I can walk into a room when I'm doing a casino
Yeah.
in a
And you
small
do- you
town,
do. You've done
and
black
and the
crowds and you do a
motherfuckers,
lot of
yeah,
white
it could
crowds.
be,
Yeah.
motherfuckers could be 50 to 80 years old, and I know what to say to them.
Mm-hmm.
And the motherfuckers enjoy me just like younger audiences.
You think that comes with experience or like that's just something that you
Yeah,
always
it comes
had?
with it. Oh yeah, it definitely comes with experience because when you're younger in the game, you don't know that shit and you don't really give a fuck, you know.
Mhm.
I
Listen,
walk in and
read
read
the
the
room.
room, you know.
Know your audience.
Yeah, and I know, you know, and you know, I can walk into a room full of all white people and look at them and say, okay, these are the white people that if I said nigga, it wouldn't bother them none, or this ain't the room for that. I can feel that shit right there in my gut without even saying a word. I know what to say.
Yeah, like they might be down to hear some politics on some liberal shit. These motherfuckers, they're not trying to hear that. They're not trying to hear nothing
exactly.
about that. Yeah, So
Exactly.
I'm not even gonna go there because I already know it's just gonna wild
I've
them up.
I've done towns where, like, you know, it's mostly white people, and you know they Trump supporters, and then I kill Trump, but then I know exactly when to stop, when they can laugh, where it doesn't get. I mean, I got that feeling. That's years of work.
Mhm.
You can't feel that shit without going through the process.
Yeah.
It's impossible,
Gotta take your lumps.
you know.
Tobe, so I wanted get the people to get a chance to know you a little bit. So tell us what do you and Jamal like kind of do on the Dope Dealers podcast that separates y'all from the other podcasts? If you could,
Well, I mean, we have a lot of different types of guests. I mean, we touch topics that we know about. We touch topics that we don't know about. We touch topics about dieting and eating habits and you know, I mean, we had a gentleman on who, you know, was a satanist, you know, so just all different. What I realize is it ain't about me or it ain't about Jamal. It's just about the people. So I just try to provide something no matter who the topic is or whatever, that I know people will enjoy. You know, we have people that lost 200 pounds and all these different scenarios where it might. I mean, like I'll give you an example. Like we had a battle rapper on. I don't know shit about battle rap.
word, you don't fuck with.
No, I mean that shit. I'm a little too old for battle rap. I got real shit to be worried about. So I don't know about it, but then the young brother came on and people enjoyed it because they knew who he was. I didn't have to know who the fuck he was.
Right.
So the key to the podcast is just, you know, being there every week for the people and also providing that it's not about you. It's basically just providing something that you know will interest other people. And that way they tune in every week.
Yeah. How'd y'all? That's really interesting. How'd y'all came up to come to call the podcast Dope Dealers? Like, how did that name come
Because
about?
I used to sell dope.
Did Jamal sell dope too?
No, that's why it works, you know, because I mean, Jamal's a total opposite.
Right.
I mean, you know, I'm the one that sold dope, been in federal prison, been in state prison,
Right.
been gang banging, all this shit. And Jamal, he grew up in the hood, but, you know, he just
Yeah.
didn't experience all that shit.
Right.
So that's what makes the podcast a good listen. That's what people say makes it enjoyable to them.
Uh-huh.
Because they know we totally two different people, and we've been friends so long,
Right.
we have good continuity.
And I'm guessing y'all met when he moved out here and you moved out here.
Yeah, we met out here.
Y'all
And
came
we've
around the same time.
Yeah, around the same time, and we've been friends for like 20 years now.
Oh wow.
Since
That's
we
dope.
both almost got here, we met.
That's dope. That's
Yeah.
dope, man. Especially in this comedy game. And,
Yeah.
And you know, and the
Yeah, and Jamal, I mean Jamal's a remarkable individual. I mean, he's somebody that, you know, you can always count on. If Jamal's you can always count
For
on
sure. Jamal is
you
known
know.
as the Philly guy in LA who any Philly comic who, if there's enough people say, yo, like help take care of him, Jamal will look out. Like he definitely takes care of his city
Yeah,
or
but
anybody
just-
else who's a
but
friend
just
of his.
real life
Yeah,
shit,
yeah,
you
he's
know.
a-
I
yeah.
mean,
He's a sterile guy. For
yeah,
sure.
yeah, Jamal. I mean, I could call Jamal at 3 a.m. and say, yo, some shit happened. He'll come, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's the good thing about him, you know.
Yeah, Jamal Dome is really thorough. He tours with Michael Blackson, and just doing his thing out here. And you tour as well on your own as a headliner. Talk to us about like how you feel like the comedy scene in Hollywood, LA, and more so like the black scene as well. How that's kind of changed since you've been out here. Like, what have you noticed drastically since from like '99 or whatever till about now? Like, what do you when you came out here, how was it compared to what you feel like where it's going now? The stages in LA, and
It's a little more. Well, one thing has changed is that there's more places that are, for lack of a better word, tolerant to black. You know, that let black comedians on the stage. Because back then,
okay,
when I first got here, there was only a few spots. You know, you had to do Chocolate Sundays, or you had to be at the Comedy Store on Tuesday,
right,
or the Comedy Store on Thursday with Nichelle, or
mm-hmm.
you know, the Comedy Union, or you know, even the Townhouse. When I got here, the Townhouse was still cracking on Tuesdays.
Okay.
With Ronaldo Ray, that's how you know,
Oh, wow.
way back then.
R.I.P.
Ronaldo.
Yeah. So back then, you know, we could only do certain rooms really, and then and that's also when like blacks start doing the Latino circuit, you know, because the Latinos, they got rooms and they start
Working.
you know, having us in theirs, and that helped. But now I would have to say, you know, we do get to get in a lot more different environments. So there's more places to go than it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's bigger just in general. There's more. I mean, I've been pretty fortunate. Like in my career, the way I started, I didn't really have to do too many open mics and shit like that. You know, I kind of came in at a time where, you know, if you got with someone, you could just start kind of working a little bit.
Yeah.
But now it's more avenues for people. So I would have to say it's better. But the downside is that back then, if you were funny, in most cases, things were going to work out. Now, you could be funny and shit might not happen because somebody's got more followers than you, or whatever. So that's the thing that's kind of changed.
Like if you came making noise back in the day, people in the town knew about whoever that was pretty quick, and it would just kind of manifest.
Yeah, and there was a process. I mean, when you got here, you know, there was a process. When you first came to LA, first no one really wanted to put you up because they didn't know you. Then you begged to get on stage. Then they start putting you up. Then if you start doing well, they wouldn't put you up because now you're a threat to them. Then it would have to get to the point where the people want to see you to where they had no choice but to put you on. And now that's the kind of the way it is. You know, a lot of people get on just because of the followers and shit like that. And, you know, they're just not ready. It was a process back in the days. You know, you started out, you know, you opened, and then you moved to feature, then you moved to close it, you know, and then you hosted or whatever. But now a motherfucker can just be doing comedy for a little bit, and because the people are following them, they're closing the show, and they're just not really ready. So the game is suffering a little bit because of that. But, you know, I can't knock nobody. If a motherfucker's going to pay you money to be at the venue and this and that, and I mean, you got to take it.
It is what it is.
Yeah, shit, I ain't mad at them.
Right.
You know, you got to take it. You know?
Yeah, that's really good to hear. Like, you know, like somebody who's been in the game, and your stature, you're not mad at the individual that's unfortunately hurting comedy. It's just because of the comedy as a whole is doesn't want to develop and go through that process the way it used to groom comics back in the day. And it's just like, yeah, I can't be mad at them because it's like if I'm young and I'm booming in this other platform that allows me to take shows and make money. Like, am I gonna say no thank you to 5,000, no thank you to 10,000?
Yeah.
It's just up to you to do the work to be ready to handle those kinds of
yeah,
gigs. Or
yeah.
you go
Because if
about
that
it-
was me with the followers,
yeah,
and then like say because of the following, I start getting paid money, I would be working so hard to get my skill up to the level of the pay that I'm getting.
right.
You know, but a lot of them aren't doing that. But that's what I would be doing because I would just.
But you wanted to be a really great comic.
Yeah, and then I would want to be worth what I'm getting paid.
True,
Mhm.
for sure.
You
You
know.
don't ever want to feel like, you know, you kind of like stealing almost. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I remember one time I bombed at the Comedy Union
Mhm.
back in the days. And I remember D. Miller time after the set, like I was standing in front of the club. I guess I was looking a little sad or whatever. And D. Miller time told me, he was like, man, he said, don't worry about that shit. He said, wait till somebody pay you $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 and you bomb. He said, that's when you feel horrible.
Mm.
And you
Yeah.
feel like, damn, I want to give this motherfucker their money back, but you can't, you know, you ain't gonna do that. You can't do that. So basically he was like saying, shit, you bombed over a little bit of money, don't even worry about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah,
that's,
that-
that's,
that-
that's some real shit.
Ask Paul. Paul, no. Paul gave me a show like out in where was that? Santa Ana. Like he said I ain't bomb, but I felt like I did. And Paul paid me. I was like, nah, I can't take this. He's like, nah, man, just go ahead and take it. I was like, nah,
Oh,
I
yeah, you
just feel
gotta
like
take the money.
I said, I feel like I ain't. I,
I
feel
mean,
like I
he-
ain't. You know what I mean? Like
You'll
that's
get
just
it,
how I felt.
he's in
Yeah.
here. He's like it's
Yeah,
like
you
his
gotta
first few
take the
years, but
money.
he'll get over that by like year 3, 4.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta take the money. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck. I mean, shit.
Yeah,
As long as you there, you ain't getting paid for the performance.
yeah. Because once you
Like
start,
pay for the
Chappelle said,
attempt.
you're getting paid.
For your
Like what
time.
he say? That's the truth.
He's like, I don't get paid. He's like, I don't get paid for my performance. I'm like Evil Knievel. I get paid for the attempt.
and the
Yeah.
fact you're showing up, once you walk through the door, that's the pay, right?
Yeah.
That's it. It's a wrap.
because when you go on the road and you start working, right, and you know you'll have a night where the shit ain't go right. There are some janky ass fuck nigga promoters who will try to justify your performance as to why they shouldn't pay you or cut your money. And when you're on the road and you travel and you gotta stay somewhere and work through all that logistics shit for them, and then you just have an off night. And then for some motherfucker tell you, yeah, we can't really pay you like what, because
Yeah.
you ain't do the job that
Yeah.
we thought you did.
They ain't gonna give you no extra if you get a standing ovation.
That's true.
Yeah,
So what the fuck? I'm taking my money, and that shit can really happen. I remember
yeah.
I was on the road one time and I had 2 shows that I was closing, 2 shows in one night. The first show, I went out there, I bombed bad. I don't know what happened, how it went down, but I know I bombed bad. Second show, I went out, I got a standing ovation. The owner of the club said, in all my comedy years, he said, out of all the years of owning the club, he said, I never seen nobody bomb like that and come behind the next show and get a stand. He said, I'd never seen that shit before in my life.
That's
That's
crazy
crazy.
how you manifested it. You
Yeah, I
turned
had to
your mental
regroup.
around and-
Yeah.
That's like going.
All in about 45-minute span, I regrouped and turned into a whole nother motherfucker than I was the first show.
That's like going 0 for 15 in the first half and finishing with 40. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just-
the same thing.
It's a mentality. You just had to find a lock in and like looking back, and I'm sure that's probably like one of the most memorable nights you've had as a comedian. Like you just, you'll never forget those shows.
Yeah.
What do you think it was that your approach or how you treated the first show compared to what happened in the second show? Were you able to just like lock in focus? You looked at your set more. You drank in the first show, so you didn't drink, or like what do you think it was? If you could chalk it up to anything.
It was no excuse, but like I think I had got there a little late, not to the show, but like into the town. I didn't really get to eat, didn't
Okay.
get my nap, just shit. But
So
that's
the-
still
it's a
no excuse. The
routine.
routine was fucked up.
Oh no, I never chalk it up. If I'm asking like you a real question, I would never like put that on the excuse. I just want to like know what do you think?
It was the
And
routine.
So it was
and-
a routine. So for you, you've noticed when I get into my routine, and we just talking about math percentages because that's
Oh,
what
yeah,
it is when you do
yeah,
a show. So
yeah,
as long
yeah.
as Tobe has this routine that I can usually do, more often than not, my show's gonna
yeah,
rock.
I'm gonna be
And
okay in
when
most cases.
When
Yeah,
the routine don't happen, then it's like it could
yeah,
happen
it
like that first show.
yeah.
No, which is good because like everybody is so different. Like I know, like one of my best friends in comedy, shout outs to Shang. Most people know that I'm really tight with Shang. He's always looked out for me since I've been out here. I've really seen some of the personal shit that Shang has had to deal with in his life, and I've seen that motherfucker have to deal with his, family shit, and then get
Me
on
too.
stage and still kill. Like I've seen him literally deal with this shit on the phone. Fuck comedy, fuck these unfunny motherfuckers, and then
Yeah.
get on stage and kill. And I've seen him have, be in good spirits and kill. So I know some people just have like they just can't handle that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And sometimes people can, not eat. Like me, I need to kind of eat a little bit before the show. I like to eat before. I don't like to eat after. Like I can't go on stage with an empty stomach because my mind gets like I get like a little bit of a headache and I press and I just feel like I'm cranky. I'm
And
not.
see, I can't eat right before. I gotta eat like a
You
few
gotta eat
hours
that-
before.
A few hours before.
Yeah, I
Maybe-
can't eat right
Whether
before.
it's a few hours or right before, I always do need. to eat.
Everybody different, because I see
Yeah.
some motherfuckers. I know motherfuckers who be walking to the stage while they still chewing, and I'm like, how the fuck do you do that?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah,
this
some-
motherfucker is
Some
just-
niggas I don't need to take a shit right before the show. They gotta get that pre-show shit. Like it's
yeah,
just
that ain't
so,
me either.
yeah, it's not me either. But
Yeah.
it's just so
I
fascinating.
can't just shit
though.
at the club.
In the
Yeah,
nice-
I mean,
in the nice improv
my,
bathroom.
my stomach would have to be fucked up. I mean, that'd have to be
Yeah,
a serious
completely.
issue for me to shit
Yeah.
at the club.
Yeah. I know some comics they can't function without a drink. Like they can't get through a set sober.
And you can't be like, because then you get attached to that shit, you know?
But
You
it's
know-
just amazing the process. So
Yeah.
like you're thinking back on that, say it was just that routine.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
There's
That's really cool.
There's a comic, Tyler Craig, long dreads.
I know
Oh, yeah, I
Tyler.
remember
Yeah, I've
Tyler,
been
yeah.
on Tyler for
Comedy
years.
Day.
Tyler's
He
funny.
did Comedy Hype a couple months ago.
Moral
right?
of the story is that dude.
Yeah,
So
Tyler's cool.
they were talking about how like he was saying that some guys were like worried about him because like sometimes he would drink before he get on stage. They would think like he's too drunk to be
Right.
on stage. But he's like a lot of times that should be an act. Like he just be acting.
Yeah,
like that's
yeah.
like part of his thing.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yo, that nigga, he be killing the hecklers though.
Oh yeah.
He is
he's
funny.
He's a
Yeah.
sharp pro.
Yeah, he is funny, man.
Tyler, yeah, he's
Yeah.
a funny dude.
It's good. We talking about like the comedy hype stuff. So I want to get your opinion on this, right? So he was texting me some stuff because apparently like in a comedy hype video that Aries did, he sort of took some shots at Alex Thomas and
Called him a court jester for
called
Eddie.
him court jester because when they go over to Eddie's house, they'll make him laugh or whatever.
I seen some.
And
I
then-
remember.
and then
Yeah.
Alex did comedy hype and then talked about just how like, it ain't me being a jester just to make this nigga laugh. I love Eddie. Of course, he's the reason I do comedy like most guys who came up after him in the 90s or whatever. But, he chalked it up to I'm really friends with these guys. Like, I've been at his house multiple times over the years, 20 years, and gotten opportunities and networking. And that's an issue where they had, and then they addressed it. Then he also addressed some back and forth that he's had with Corey Holcomb. And then I seen
Corey
another.
Corey called him. He said he's a joke thief and that he's gay.
Right.
Alex?
Because
Yeah.
of the naked basketball shit. Just whatever.
Okay, all right.
You remember that? You heard
Yeah.
about that, right? With at Jamie's house.
At Ja-
Ah.
Yeah.
Yo, hold on, wait. You heard about that shit too,
That-
bro?
I guess so.
Listen. All right, see, thank God somebody else knows besides.
Well,
me.
hold on. Hold on.
Oh, let me
Yeah,
finish, let
yeah.
me
Finish.
So
the
then,
shit, finish the shit.
then there's another video where Earthquake and his wife are going back at each
I
other.
seen
Comcast.
that. I didn't see Earthquake. I seen his wife
The
talking.
headline
That was
stuff.
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. But my thing is, I
She
feel
way
like
out of pocket.
is comedy hype doing a good thing or a bad thing with these interviews? Because I feel like these are issues that the comics and the people can address to each other, and it's like now we're not talking to each other, we're talking to this camera, and this is what we're doing. Like it's having people talk about it, bringing up old shit resurfacing, whether it's beef, whether it was a isolated incident, and I don't know if that is really a productive thing. Is that showcasing us in a good way by doing these interviews, and we just basically talking
RDR is like a black TMZ.
right? But
Yeah, I was just about to
But
say.
how
that.
do you feel about do you think it's a good thing? Like, or do you like? Are you fascinated like anybody else to watch these interviews and hear these people say these things about each other who, you didn't know about?
Well, the thing is, I hate to see us just sitting there talking bad about each other. I mean, but I guess if somebody was really wronged and they want to talk about
It's
it,
their
they
right
have
to
a
tell the
right to
truth.
do that
Yeah.
also. And the comedy hype is just giving them the platform to do it. So I mean, I guess as long as ain't nobody lying on nobody, then what can they say?
Yeah,
Mhm.
but do you ever watch them like?
Yeah, I've
personally,
seen
or you check
some
out
of them.
some?
Yeah, like I mean, I was appalled by the one Earthquake's wife, like how she was acting. It's
Yeah.
like, the child is grown. He's taking care of the child. She never said, "Hey, Earthquake didn't pay his child support." None of that shit.
Right.
She wanted him to do shit to still keep taking care of her.
It's like-
Like, bitch, you gonna sit here and say that? Like,
Yeah.
how could you do that? I mean, like,
I
the
didn't
man
watch
has
the
done
vid-
enough.
Yeah, I can't comment because I didn't watch that, but I just saw the back and forth of it, and I saw a little bit of Earthquake stuff. I didn't see that specific thing about addressing the child support issue, but I just think even that.
I
kinda
mean, she
shit,
didn't
though.
have no complaints on what he's done financially for the child and
Right.
things like that. But she said that he should, now the child's 18, he should still be paying her because her lifestyle's different, this and
Yeah.
that. And, and then it was just like, she tried to portray an image that was horrible too, like how he met her, said she met him at the strip club and this and that.
Yeah.
But she wasn't a stripper, she was a waitress. I mean, it was just ridiculous.
It was
It's like,
a lot. I just be feeling really conflicted about comedy hype So, like I said, sometimes I feel like it's cool because you will learn some stuff as an audience, as a comic that you didn't know about stuff back in the day that you always wanted to hear about, like what was happening in the circuit with these guys before.
But it could turn into a real problem too.
right.
But
Yeah,
like I
like
said,
Alex and Corey with the back and forth, and Tony Ty, you can get into it. Like, so years ago, there was an article that surfaced that the police there was neighbors complaining about their stuff at Jimmy because they was playing naked basketball.
okay, yeah, I
or
remember
whatever.
hearing
I heard
about that.
I heard.
Yeah.
It's so weird. That's such a weird thing, but that that came up. You can Google it. It's Googleable.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna?
So, all right.
But I don't know
man,
if that's true.
Thank God
Yeah.
this shit is out. So there's a lady that does my hair, right? I have multiple hair ladies, but there's one of the ladies that does my hair. And she was saying, like, she's like, she's like, yeah, you new here. Have you been to the Hollywood parties? I was like, nah, I'm not, I'm not in the crowd like that. She's like, yeah, because she's like, I'm always hanging out with my friend because she knows all these people, so I be going to the parties and stuff. She's like, but I stopped going because they get weird. I said, what do you mean they get weird? She's like, I was at his house, and they was out there just playing naked basketball. I said, what do you mean naked basketball? Like, they had, like, just boxers on? She's like, no, they was in the pool, and then when they got out the pool, they took their shit off and just started playing basketball that way. I was like, what? She's like, yeah. She's like, that's why I don't go to any of those events anymore. Well, at his house especially, because that's how weird this shit is. I was like, damn, like, and now that you telling me, like, other people saying this, I'm like, damn, this shit might be true.
Yeah, I don't want to believe that's true because sometimes people just be talking and making up shit and like we weren't there.
Yeah.
And I have.
And there's no
much
proof because they make you turn your phone in.
Right, they make you give your phone.
Yeah, they make you give your phone.
I mean, you've been here a while. Have you heard about how some of these comedy
I've
stars
heard
and
of.
some
I
of these
mean,
niggas, and like I said, I don't like to give it too much light.
and I've been, I've heard of weird shit like that, but
Yeah.
it's like, from my aspect, there's been times I thought like, damn, I'm not getting invited to certain shit, but then I had to realize that when you hear certain things that I was like, I've been protected for a lot of you. I haven't been in no weird ass environments for the most part. I remember going to I remember one night somebody invited me to a party, and a comedian invited me to a party, and I got there, and I started looking around, and it was just men at this motherfucker, and I was like, damn, what's going on? I thought I was tripping and whatever. I'm high and shit. I'm like, okay. But then I realized that it was just me in there. And the person that invited me started acting uncomfortable, whatever. So I only stayed like 10 minutes and I left, but it was just weird. And I think that's the only time, that I was invited. And I don't know for sure if that's what was going on, but it was just, it was too many men there for me. I was like, oh, I'm about this motherfucker.
Yeah,
What these niggas doing here?
And I'll be honest with you, the fan in me doesn't want to believe that shit was going down. And like, I have a relationship with Alex. I'm cool with Alex. Alex's been like a big homie too. And I respect him for defending himself on, talking to Comedy High because he always usually keeps to himself. I mean, he's a fun dude, whatever like that. He's a real nigga. He'll talk to you if he's cool with you like that. But like, for him to really answer a lot and address a lot of shit on Comedy Hub, I know that probably wasn't easy because he just doesn't really do a lot of like candid.
Yeah, I didn't hear what he had to say about it.
Yeah, but I mean, with the Corey shit, it goes deeper because it was just like people who follow Corey were saying that he stole a joke from him and Alex just had to defend his reputation as a comic, so it just goes back to that shit, like niggas calling each other out for certain stuff, and then it's like, get into the crux of it, is it really that deep? And
then where's that gonna go?
Yeah, and then it's like, he called, he's in his truth, he just finds it where he believes Aries to be like one of those bitter guys, and he believes Corey to be one of those bitter guys, and that just happens because of how Aries, I guess, has been online when he does interviews, and sometimes I feel like people can't get misunderstood with that bitter label because, if you really helping people in a real way, like when the cameras ain't on and, in terms of like, helping young comics with work or, your veterans with work and looking out for people in a real way, I can't call you bitter. You can just be frustrated by some of the shit that comedy throws at you because we all know this shit ain't easy. But then there's certain actions you can take where that does show the actions of somebody bitter, whether you taking work from somebody, you trying to like call them out on some shit that's not even real because you're petty about something, or you don't want to take out a certain demographic of comics because of how you want your shows to work. Like I've heard, he doesn't take black openers on the road or whatever. Like
that's the truth.
That's which is true.
Yeah, that's
so,
true.
Aries Spears.
Yeah,
he
that's
does
the truth.
not.
If
No,
you're a
that's
black
the truth.
comic, if you're a black male comic, I think women too.
I've heard
won't
that
take your
from
no- he
I've
won't let
heard
you
that
open for him.
from I've heard it from club owners.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Like you will not be on the show the next night. Like he'll look specifically for somebody who's not black to be on the show with him because he in his mind he wants to have a very
And he ain't the only one
balanced
that do
show.
that. You know, he's not
Aries
the
ain't
only one. He
one.
ain't the
There's been
only
other
one. It's a lot of comics that do
Yeah,
that.
you know what's crazy to me? Because now that I'm like trying to do the whole comedy thing and I'm watching these interviews and shit like that. Like I hear comics talking about how like say you open it up for somebody, right? Like the headliner or the club promoter will come to you and be like, "Yo, you can't talk about this
topics.
this."
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like you can't talk about none of these things.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time.
yeah. I mean,
And I kind of get it because like you don't want to talk about the same shit.
I mean, what
You know
what are you amazed at? Like that's been going on since the beginning of comedy.
he's
but-
only been in a few years. Though.
But
Yeah,
I understand. But
I-
why is that amazing to you? But you know, I mean,
I just thought it was crazy that you could literally tell somebody like, "Nah, you can't do that set. Like, don't do that."
I don't agree with it. I would never tell nobody that because I never give a fuck what anybody in front of me says because I know that no matter who it is or what's going on, I'm gonna bring these people into my world.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's people out there like that. There's a whole lot of people out there like that.
But I've also like, and then just to chalk it up because I want to shoot Aries some bail in this situation where I've seen he like when he used to do like his own sketches or whatever like that. You know, it's like he got a crew with him and he'll be having a comic come through and he'll be paying them money. Like before, like Tiffany Haddish blew up. Like I went out to his crib in Calabasas and watched her like do a sketch and he used to like work with some of his comedy friends and I just think like whoever's his people's he'll work with. So I don't really feel like the bitter shit is always warranted. I just feel like he has an attitude about certain things and like when he talks
That
about
makes
the
sense.
joke writing shit.
I
But
mean,
it's
yeah.
like, you know, if he's helping people work in a different kind of way, then I like, you know, I can't call you bitter like that. Like, you know, when you know, I know, you know, and I'm talking back up to, you know, Shang and some other people who get that label, and it's just like when you help as many people as I know that he actually does help in a real way, whether they're a young comic or a comic in his class or a couple generations on whatever, you know, he's always been willing to, you know, keep the game moving forward and introduce you to some shit. So it's like when he's just complaining about motherfuckers not being funny on a special or reviewing or giving his critique, you know, comics get so much in their feelings about a man's opinion. And it's like, yo, he can not like a special and talk about it if he wants to. Like, that's your right as a comic. Like, if also
It
we
is,
consume
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
We
It
consume
is.
shit. Are we supposed to just
Yeah,
everything
it
is a
is.
10 across
It
the
is
board?
his right.
That's not what it is. Like some specials you just don't fuck with. And if you feel like I can write about it on public and talk about why I didn't like this, what was the problem with it, or what it's doing, then that's their right. Like
Sometimes it comes
But
off
you
as
know,
hating.
it
but
does
you
come
know
up
what?
because of the tone. Because motherfuckers is tone, they can't understand tone, and they take tone as just straight salt.
people, everybody has a right to their opinion and to voice it and say whatever. Just like if, you know, if we watching a basketball game and
Yeah.
we think somebody ain't playing well, you know, it's okay to say, all right,
Yeah,
this motherfucker didn't do too well that night or whatever.
yeah.
But to be honest, when it comes to like, say, just what you're talking about, comedy specials and things like that,
Yeah.
I've never watched anybody special or anything, and the first thing that came to my mind was what they did wrong. I've never, even, I mean, some people's shit is better than others. We know that, or whatever it might be, but I never seen any negativity in anybody's shit that I ever watched, no matter, even if it was horrible.
Right.
I'm going to find something. I'm not going to go to social media and just start. I mean, I don't know. That's just not my
That's
style.
not true. Right.
That's not
true.
my style, you know.
Yeah, but like, and just talking, you know, bringing it to the.
But everybody,
the bitter
they have a
shit.
right to do it the way they want to.
Yeah, and I think you know when it came to Aries with the Kev stuff with the joke writing and having writers as opposed to somebody who comes up with it on his own like that, that sparked a lot of shit. You know that maybe soured their relationship or whatever. And you know Kev will always say, you know, it's like I got love for Aries and all this other stuff. And I think Aries does feel like he has love for Kev too, but it's just like. You know, you're always gonna feel a different way because you're a headliner who still works the clubs and you're just kind of doing it yourself. Where Kev is in a team position and he just leans on his peers or whatever. And it's just like I think anybody at that level, I don't think they crafted all themselves. I not to say that they writing bits or whatever for you, but you just have people that you lean on for opinions.
It would be virtually impossible
Yeah.
for them to. It's not enough hours in the day for
At
them
what
to
Kev
do
does,
everything. Yeah, at
yeah.
that level to do everything on your own. It's
Yeah.
impossible.
It's impossible.
You have to have help, or you're not gonna be on that level
Yeah.
for
sure.
long.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so I mean that's only normal.
Yeah, but I just want us to if we have issues with each other, I feel like, man, we just don't want to get on the phone and talk to somebody or meet up face to face. Like, I feel like that is really dying because cats would just rather talking to the camera. And granted, it's your truth. You are spilling your stories.
Or into their phone.
Or into their phone or whatever like that. And then just that lost art of just that one-on-one, like mano-a-mano or woman, whatever. Just let's talk
But that
about
ain't
our
just in
shit.
comedy. That's
It's
in life.
In life.
I mean, because just like back in the days, if two football players had a beef, they would talk, when they seen each other on the field or whatever. But now they doing it on Twitter. They calling each other trash.
Yeah.
Daryl Reeves saying,
You seen that,
Richard
right?
Sherman ain't shit. All this. I mean,
What do you think about that in specific, though?
Yeah.
No, I mean, he's just talking, man. He know better than that.
Do
And
you?
the fact, but I'm just saying, Reeves got a right to feel the way he wants to. But
Right.
I'm just saying all this talking over social media and all that shit. Back in the days, that shit wouldn't have happened.
Right.
When motherfucking Joe Frazier and Ali had a problem, they talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like Joe Frazier said, "Hey, nigga, I didn't appreciate you calling me no motherfucking monkey."
Yeah.
They settled that shit face to face, but
Yeah. But it's
different
becoming a lost
time.
art.
I'm
it's
not
a
gonna
different
lie.
time.
The Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali saga shit was crazy.
Yeah.
I remember he.
Can you imagine if that played out on social media to this day? I mean,
Muhammad Ali would've been
nowadays,
tweeting.
Bro,
yeah.
he pulled up to Joe Frazier's house at like 2:00 in the morning on a bus, right, with a megaphone, and he's like, "I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna beat you," and blah, 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 like just like terrorizing the man. And then he called him at the casino, right? And then Muhammad Ali pulled up to the casino. He's like, "I told you, I'm gonna haunt you. I'm gonna haunt you in your sleep. I'm gonna haunt you at the casino. I'm gonna haunt you when you're eating dinner. And like he was just bothering him, right? And so like he started making his way towards it, and Joe Frazier pulled out like a fake gun.
Oh, shit.
He pulled out a fake gun with blanks in it and started shooting at him. And then Muhammad Ali got scared and ran off. And then when he runs off, he looks, he turns around and goes, "It's fake." And he shoots some fake
That's
shit in
real?
the air. Yeah, like you
Wow.
can look it up on YouTube. That shit was funny, man.
In closing, I just feel like, look, man, life is short. Clearly, we learned we keep learning that lesson, and I think it's like if there is a real issue, man, just work it out, man. Talk to that person, call them, get it off your chest and settle it, because there's really no reason to attack each other the way we do. And then the reason why I'm more invested in it, obviously, is because as a black comic, it's like, yo, like I looked up to all these guys in different ways and at certain points in my career, and I still do because of what they did for me as a kid and whatnot. So when you see them kind of like just express themselves the way they are, I get it. It is a way of just telling your truth, but also I feel like it might not be working to our benefit because we're the only group of people who get constantly reminded that we black people go at each other so much. There's no unity, and it's like now, black comics, we're doing so much of this in this media space, and it's like, man, like white comics got beef too. Let's not get twisted.
all races do, but I'm just saying,
the way our shit be pouring out,
I ain't never been so mad at somebody in the comedy game where I would want to go and just tell. I mean, like tell it like that. Ain't
blast
never
them,
been that
you know what I mean?
serious,
Yeah.
Yeah, to go sit down and have an interview and all this shit just to talk about another individual. I mean, that's just not.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just not street shit to me. That's just not.
And, I mean, you come from a
Yeah,
different cloth.
we ain't do all that shit. You ain't doing
You
all
go
that.
talk to the dude directly.
Yeah, you're not doing all that.
Yeah, I try to, I feel like I want to uphold those man-to-man principles because it's just,
Are those out the window though, Nick?
I know,
Yeah,
man.
it's a
I'm
done deal. You
holding
might as
on.
well forget about those, nigga. You might as well go on Comedy Hype and talk shit about somebody. Shit. You might get booked more.
They hear that music in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I did a podcast with Top, man, but that nigga's a bitch. Like,
Yeah.
Man, nigga looked straight at me and said, "We good, dog. We good."
Yeah.
And it wasn't all good, dog. Anyways, so Tobe, man, plug everything on your socials, man. Thanks for kicking it with us, man. Tell
Yeah,
the people
man, I
how
had a
can they
great
find
time,
you.
man. You guys check out the Dope Dealer podcast with myself, Tobe Hixx, Jamal Doman. You can follow me on Instagram, TOBEHIXX.
Yeah, man.
It's a sad day. I'm just glad this is over with now. I'm gonna just go home and get high and get drunk and just not move and
I hear that.
think about this horrible situation that happened to
I hear that. Please,
Kobe Bryant and his daughter, his beautiful daughter. I'm devastated.
yeah, please keep us in your prayers. Please, Kobe in your prayer. Keep his family in your prayer.
His wife, his
The wife, just
grandma, grandpa, the
the
sisters.
The Bryants.
Can you imagine how the girls feel? They dad and sister gone.
That's two wounds that's never gonna heal. yeah, I want to thank you guys, for making sure that we could come on, and I feel good about just celebrating.
I
Kobe's
damn
life
near
in a way.
turned around. I ain't
I wouldn't have been
bullshitting.
mad at you if you
I
had
damn
to.
near turned around. I was about to say, but I was like halfway here, and I was about to turn around and just go back to the house and tell you.
Totally would have understood if
You know.
if you felt like you just didn't want to talk. But I just feel like we have a platform. I mean, we can celebrate the life of Kobe in a positive way and just talk about what we loved about him. And just it was good that you just came on and we got the chance to chop it up because I know we've been trying to make this happen for a minute too. And hopefully the next time we'll get both of the dope dealers on. Ty, anything you want? Closing thoughts?
Cherish your people while they still here.
Facts.
Yeah, like y'all said, life is too short. Tell your people you love them. I tell Nick I love him every day, even though that nigga be pissing me off sometimes. But yeah, man, tell your people you love them, and cherish the moments that you have now, because you never know.
Yeah,
You never know.
definitely.
Follow me on Twitter though, Bones of Comedy.
IG, where they follow you? IG, same thing.
Ty Sterling.
Ty Sterling.
Yeah.
Okay, and keep supporting at For the Culture Live. This episode will be out later this week. Follow me at Nick of Comedy. There was a lot of stuff, Nick of Comedy. There's a lot of stuff we didn't get a chance to get to, but we'll be back and we'll just we'll just keep it moving. Unfortunately, you got to take a minute to grieve and mourn. Life does go on. It doesn't stop. And now Kobe is gonna be a great memory for us. We're gonna take him with him, and I know the NBA is gonna do their thing and making sure that he gets a really proper send off, him and his family, and just to celebrate the life. Don't. It's sad, but let's just appreciate everything that Kobe has given to the game and to the world. So on that thought, peace.
Peace.